I haven't been dreaming much, or I haven't been remembering my dreams. But when I do dream, my dreams are always intense and meaningful. And last night, all night, I was bombarded with men offering me money for my body over and over. And the amount that I was offered kept getting more and more, higher and higher. And some of these men were with their wives, and their wives were standing by and listening and watching on. And many of them were shocked that I refused. And in the beginning, I was able to be gracious and just, no, thank you. But the last man before I woke up, I got angry, and I spoke loudly, and I said, I'm not for sale. I am not for sale. And this has been a theme in my life. And I think for many women, and I think for many humans, they felt like we've been told that we should sell ourselves in various ways, but it's all our soul. You know, anytime we exchange our time, or our body, our effort, our energy, our attention for money, there is a transaction occurring, and it's all spiritual, right? So what price your soul? And there are certain things that are more debasing than others, you know. There are ways that you can exchange your time and energy and effort that exalts God, and you can do in the world good in the world and be paid for it. You can also debase yourself and deny your divinity or disrespect your divinity. And I've known for a long time that we've been so wounded in our divinity, and it's tied to a selling out. This dream was very overt, but this is the message, is that we have been I believe that we have, okay, this is all spiritual, so when I say we, people have done it to other people, and we're all complicit in it, and we're all responsible, therefore, for healing it. But of course, we've been born into a world where this problem already existed, right? So there was an initial wounding. Now, whether that was intentional or done in ignorance, who knows? I wasn't there. But there was an initial wound, and that wound just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it is, in many ways, festering. But there is a wound to the divine feminine. It's like if you hurt somebody, if you wound them, they become so vulnerable, and then they become more susceptible to further attack, right? Or manipulation. Because a wounded person is, in many ways, a needy person. What they need is love. But if the people around you are not loving, or are themselves wounded and scared for their own safety and survival, they may try to capitalize on your situation. That's kind of what's going on in the world right now. It's exactly what's going on in the world. And I believe initially, the biggest problem was the wound to the divine feminine. I believe more recently there has been a very overt attack on the divine masculine, as men are being accused of being toxic for being masculine. You know, it's like all forms of masculinity are attacked. And, you know, now we've got a lot of men wanting to be women. And this isn't about transgenderism. Because there obviously are people that are actually trans, and they should have rights, and they should be seen, and they should be loved, and they should feel safe. But there's also an attack that's been made on that community. It's been used as a vector for further attacking the divine feminine and the divine masculine. People are being led into confusion. We're taught from a very early age that we are objects, that we need to prove our worth, that we can use our bodies and our sexuality to get the love and attention that we so desperately all need and desire. These things are being used against us. I've seen it a lot in my community. I've experienced it firsthand, that my own femininity has been stolen or siphoned and used by men to capitalize off of. And they were able to do that because of my wounding around my divine feminine and my femininity, where I was, as a young girl, I was sexually abused. I became afraid of men in many ways. I hardened myself in many ways. I was scared of myself, of my own body, of what it might invite. And that created a situation in me where I didn't really know who I could trust. And I was, as a result, actually attracted to the wrong kinds of people. I ended up being attracted to men who were predatory. You know, I think there's a dance that victims and predators do. And at any given time, we are all one or the other. I don't mean to paint myself as a victim, but it's a fact that I have been a victim. I have been a victim of certain perpetrations. I have been a victim of sexual abuse throughout my life. And that created a certain wound in me that predators could see. Predators are looking for those wounds, those weaknesses, so that they can take advantage of them. So, I have found myself in many situations working for men who had power, men who had money, men who had resources, who would... I've been sought out. I've been offered. I've been approached by men. Oh, there's something about you so great. I love your energy. I would love for you to come and work for me. Okay, well, at the time, I felt so seen. You know, who doesn't want to be seen? Everybody wants to be seen. That's the game that's being played. Right? I wanted to be recognized. And loved. When it comes right down to it, I had a deficit of love on every level. I lacked community. I lacked self-love. I lacked family. And so, when you have those kinds of wounds, and many of us do, it makes you incredibly susceptible to people who want to prey on that. And young women are being preyed upon. So I've had men ask me to work for them, take me under their wing, even, you know, present themselves as a mentor to me. And then once the relationship is underway and I am dependent upon them in some way, attached to them in some way, the tables get turned and the things that have been given get used against me, as in, well, you owe me. I feel that this is happening on a large scale and has been happening on a large scale with all women to some degree or another. I see men who have resources and power, and this is the patriarchy, right? This is what's known as the patriarchy, misusing that. But it's happening now. It's happening to men too. It's happening to humans, and we need to realize that. So I don't call myself a feminist. I'm a humanist. Okay? I'm a child of God. We're all children of God, and we should all be looking out for one another. It shouldn't be men versus women, because, guys, it's happening to men too now. There is a deficit of love in this world. And we have fallen so far from our divinity. And that is what is making us vulnerable and susceptible to further predation. So the way that we get out of this, the way we rise above it, is to literally rise above it. We have to take responsibility for being divine. A divine being knows their worth. A divine being would never sell their soul or their body for $1. Just for $1. It's okay to take $1 for your work. Energy is a form of, money is a form of energy exchange. Okay, but money is being misused and misapplied in this world. It's being used to control and manipulate and dominate. But we're complicit in all of that when we sell out, when we take less than what we're worth, when we get paid for things that aren't godly, when we sell out in that way and say, oh, well, it's really easy to get an OnlyFans account. All I have to do is take off my clothes. I got a body. That's free for me. I don't, We're better than that. We shouldn't be doing that. Now, we're being led in that direction. It's being normalized. As a culture, we are being led in that direction by people who wish to use us as an object. They have every incentive to convince us that we are objects and that we are to be used by others and ourselves. No. We are divine beings. We are spiritual beings. We are children of God. Oh, that is so blasphemous, so insidious, so wrong. To look at a child of God like a plaything, a toy, an object. We're doing this to one another. We're doing this to ourselves. And I'm saying all this not to be negative, but to be real. Because in order to solve a problem, you first have to recognize a problem. There are a lot of people that like the spiritual bypass. And what that looks like is saying, you're focusing on the negative, and what you focus on grows. And they would say that by me focusing on this, by me talking about reality, I'm creating it. That is some weird gaslighty, spiritual bypassing things that predators like to do, because it allows them to go on doing what it is that they need to do, which requires darkness, which requires ignorance, which requires you to turn your head and look over there and go do yoga and chase rainbows and butterflies. Well, you can do yoga and chase rainbows and butterflies and turn and shine your light on the darkness. These things aren't mutually exclusive. Okay, and if you're not doing that, then the yoga and the rainbows and the butterflies are you distracting yourself, which is working in service of the darkness. Stand in your light. Speak the truth. Do not sell your soul. You are divine, and that's powerful. It's so powerful that there are people out there that are siphoning it. They want it, and they need to convince you that, oh, this ain't nothing, but they want your gold. You're selling gold for pennies, for a pittance. We all are. We've been doing it. I don't work for any man now. I don't work for anybody. I work for God.